always get to talking about something else. So Saturday, November 24th, when I saw the police officers, there was a white guy that was over by the bus 6 terminal, and I had just come out of the building with my Coke. I left my box out there, so I was trying to hurry back out so nobody would go through it, because they'll take your shit. And he gets off the bus or wherever he came from. He's like, So I pick up the box. I told Angola, come on, move over here. Because he seemed like he was trying to get my attention. So we moved. He comes to where we are. So we left bus 6 and we went over to bus 1 to get away from him completely because the energy wasn't right. And shortly after we posted up, the 2 police officers pull in. SUV 20, and it's a very, very fair-skinned black lady, Asian lady, Iraqi lady. I don't know her ethnicity, but she was very fair-skinned, almost whitish looking. Just, you can tell she's colored with some ethnicity that has melanin, but I couldn't make out what ethnicity, so I went with Asian. She was mixed with Asian, like Asian black. She came up and she seemed to have like a grimace on her face, like she was walking like she was upset about something. And then the guy that was in TPD SUV 586 or 596, I would have to go back and look at the footage because I recorded them because, well, let me give his description. He was tall, like an MMA type. He had stubby beard and a short buzz type cut. And it just looked like if you took off his shirt, he would have an 8-pack. And he seemed to be disturbed in the face too, like he was upset about something. So I automatically wondered if they were on the take because I looked at that SUV 20, and I think that's a part of the troupe. That's the clowns in the costumes. That's what I call them. When you are a police officer and you do fuck shit, when you done took an oath to serve and protect, but you get paid under the table to neglect your duties, you're a clown in a costume. That's the way I look at it, and I'm sure all citizens who are upstanding feel the same way, and we want your kind off the force so that when we see the police coming, we know we're going to be treated with respect and dignity, and we're going to get justice, not mishandled. When I was followed from work on February 9th, that's the same day they took my driver's license, TPD KellyThomas. It was a female, so I'm assuming it was Kelly Thomas was her name. And skinny, kind of young-looking, white, kind of like kid, white guy. And the officer that was in the Charger, the short, stocky black guy, the 3 of them pulled me over. I said, I'm on my way to work. And he's like, why you pulled in this way? I'm like, because I want people to see me, because y'all police officers, y'all do wrong shit. So I showed him my TWIC badge and my port pass. I said, I'm on my way to work. I was just leaving Metropolitan Ministries asking Natalia to help me pay my light bill and my water bill at the house. And I believe that Donnie Dwayne Flowers has friends within the police department, and he calls them to do him little personal favors, harassing me. And once they harass me, I'm supposed to call him and say, I need help, like I'm a damsel in distress. Once I find out you're a fuck boy and you have been stealing from me and lying to me and maybe a part of the people that got me fraudulently married, maybe even reported me dead, nigga, no, I will never come back to your house but to put together my little documentary with my camera. So if you see me at your house and I'm outside, don't bring your ass out there because I'm not checking for you. I'm recording for my own personal benefit. Do you got that, Donnie? Never again. Shame on you, fuck boy. And I hope, YouTube allows this video to go through. You catfished me? You a faggot? oh Lord, they ain't gonna let this through. Damn it. I need to get out of my emotions. I'm healing still, okay? So for all you people that are like, oh my God, I can't believe she's saying those things. If somebody stole from you, tried to sacrifice you, was poisoning you through the water bottles, through the food, through the Gatorade that they were giving you, and you thought they were your friend, you laying up on their couch at night and you don't even know whether they done injected something in you or extracted some of your blood or allowed somebody to take the eggs out of your uterus or take something out of your knee. I mean, allegedly he's a surgeon, so he can do shit like that. So you'd be mad too. So back to the two officers at the place. Well, I was done with them, but when Thomas Kelly pulled me over, they took my driver's license, A325-004 dash, wait a minute, A325-70 dash 004-924. I have to write it in order to get it in the right sequence, but I think that's right. Florida, it expires 11/24/23. It just expired. My driver's license expired this year. Yeah, or did it expire in 24? My TWIC badge expires in 24. My driver's license, I think, just expired on my birthday. And I haven't gone to get it again because I feel like until the FBI locks up some of these people, you know, they go in and they pay people wherever I go. They follow me all day long. So I'm traveling by bus, they traveling by car. Wherever I go, they call in, they pay the people under the table to give them a duplicate or maybe put Letitia's face on my driver's license, you know, little shit like that. These people are pretty evil, and it is about 20 to 50 of them. So I said I'm not going to give them the opportunity to get my help to get a driver's license with their picture. They're going to have to go in and do the whole fraud thing themselves, okay? But now I think I really do need to go ahead and get my driver's license. So the day that they pulled me, February 9th, 2022, they took my tag, JDJN53, off of the car that Lawrence Alexander Cambridge gifted me. It's a 2011 Dodge Caliber, Main Street. Mango Tango is the technical name. A lot of people call it burnt orange, but the burnt orange is darker than the Mango Tango. On the car keys that he gave me from the dealership, it says Mango Tango. So they took my tag, they took my driver's license. So I said to the little white kid looking officer, can I go to work? I got to go to work. Because, you know, my light bills was like $200 because Tico was scamming me. And then the water bill was like $80. They were scamming us. But then when the pipe burst, we had to cut it off at the main outside. So anytime we wanted to take a shower, we had to go outside, turn it on, and take a shower, and then turn it off. So the bill went down to like $50. And it turns out I had some kind of free scholarship. So they were sending me bills for $200, $210. I was struggling to pay those bills because I got let go from the Rogers Golf Course December 4th, something like that, of 2021. So I've been struggling and working them little short paychecks at AmalieOil for $61 through Liberty Staffing. And it turns out they were $61 because they were skimming. So either Miss Sharon or Tom or Ian were stealing from my paycheck, right? And keeping some for themselves and giving me $61. I would do Liberty Staffing, first shift. Lunch break, I would call people ready and pick up a second shift. And I would just hide behind something and then start my second shift. And I ain't tell nobody, but this, I don't know if that's a man or a woman, he saw me and I believe he reported me. But I was doing what I had to do to pay them few little bills. Anthony was supposed to be paying the mortgage, $352 a month. He took $20,000 of the $30,000 that we borrowed from Jervik Holding back in 2008, and I was paying the lights, the water, the cable, and feeding the children. For a whole year, he wasn't there. It was just me and the children. We had a good time, too. So when I got off work, when they left, I stood there and I prayed. I said, God, you know I need to go to work. I can't not go to work. I got to go to work. So I decided I was going to go to work. So I did. No tag, no license. I drive to the port. I have my port badge and I have my TWIC badge. So I clock in at 5 o'clock. I go upstairs. There's a short Caucasian guy with a bubble butt and pepper hair. He tells me I'm not in blow mode. I'm downstairs in packaging. So I go downstairs. I work from 5 p.m. to 11 p.m. When I get off work at 11, I'm trying to pick up another shift. Everybody's telling me no. So I said, oh, God, I know the police are going to be waiting for me. This is what you call laying in wait, which I'm pretty sure is illegal, and I'm pretty sure it's entrapment. So I'm like, God, should I try to sleep in the car here? I didn't want to sleep in the car there because there was a girl following me around, and I felt like she was trying to harm me. Every time I would go to the bathroom, on my way back from the bathroom, she would be going towards that direction. It happened 3 times in one day. I said, there's something going on. So I told Mr. Donovan, I need the security to come because I don't feel comfortable. So Mr. Donovan walked me out to my car. I had to step in a water puddle to, get my battery right to crank my car. So I didn't feel comfortable trying to sleep in the parking lot until the morning and then getting the car towed to the house or something. So then I said, God, can I leave my car here in the parking lot? He's like, no, they're going to tow it because my brother, he thinks that my property is his property. So I believe prior to that day, he was trying to steal my car and sell it to his little chopper friends that he knows in Opelika. He used to live next door to. Oh my God, I probably didn't need to say that. Them people probably moved. I'm not trying to get people in trouble. I'm really not. But I realize in telling my story, it implicates a lot of people. So I said, I can't leave it. I want my car. Lawrence said, this car is going to make a difference, 1-digit difference to you and your children. And it really did make a difference. And we still have it, and it's still making a difference. So I said, God, I drove out, and when I came out, I went over to where you go into the gate. And I saw them making formation around me. Let me see, black truck, white truck, I can't remember, 2 police officers. The sheriff is always there at the port. A sheriff car is there. And then I think a port police is there too. But definitely a sheriff is there. So I park under the light and I pray. I said, Lord, can you please get me and my car home safely? And God said yes. I said, okay. So because I felt death in the air, I decided I see them, they see me, and, this is what we're going to do. Instead of me going down 26th Street along the river the way I usually go, where the crab shacks used to be, I'm going straight up the hole. Ain't no sense in pussyfooting around. I'll have plenty of cameras and safe places to pull over in case these are some of them fake officers trying to kill me. So I drive out and I go down 22nd Street, up 22nd Street, back north. The police officer held the light. I was at the light for about 5, maybe 10 minutes. I would have been home if they hadn't pulled that move, stopped the light. And I saw the police officer coming from the east, traveling west on Adamo. And he made a U-turn and came behind me. and pulled me. So I said, Lord, let me pull somewhere where I can be seen, because I think these people are trying to kill me. I'm talking about these fake police or the real police on the take. I didn't know which one they were. So the same fat guy that I saw on the 22nd, 24th at the children's board that I talked to, who told me not to get an attorney for my case. Why would a police officer tell you not to get an attorney? That made me think he was fake or on the take. He stopped me, and it looked like his hand was on his gun, and he was nervous in his eyes. Whenever I'm dealing with the police, I always put my hands out the window because of the lies they put in the notes against my name. You know, she's crazy, she's belligerent, she's, what is that word? Non-compliant. It's a different word. A resistor. She resists arrest, right? So I always put my hands out the window and I'm praying and I'm like, God, please, you said you were going to get us home, right? So, you don't have a tag? I said, no, they stopped me earlier today. What do you mean? No, you mean a couple of days ago? No, earlier today. They stopped me. And then a Spanish-looking lady came over to the passenger side. My passenger's window wouldn't come up. So she said, why don't you have your tag on your car? I said, I just told him they stopped me earlier today on my way to work. And then they wanted the ticket. So I handed him the ticket, the fat, chubby white guy with the glasses. Handed him the ticket. He went back to the back there, and did something and then brought me back up. I assumed the same piece of paper. Could have been a second ticket, because when I hired the attorney, he said something about, you want me to represent you for both tickets. I'm like, what? I only got one ticket. So this officer might have given me a second ticket and didn't even say anything. You see what I'm saying? So that's a part of the entrapment. But before that, he was looking like he had his hand on his gun, and he looked up on my dashboard. My car is really junky. He saw my dash cam, and that changed his whole energy. And he's like, when he brought the paper back up, if you drive this car again, you're going to jail. They're going to put you in jail. I said, okay, well, why don't you give me an escort home? And they just took off. So I prayed, thank God, and continued on down 22nd Street. Made it to the house, backed in. Alex and his friend that drives that Mercedes was there, and he's like, Auntie, what's wrong? I said, oh no, everything's right. All is well. He looks shocked to see me. So I'm like, my nephew might be in on some fuck shit, because he's telling me about these 48 laws of power. When I went to look at the 48 laws of power, I said, this is some fuck shit right here. Pose as a friend and when you're really an enemy. I'm like, damn, that is treacherous. So I started looking at my nephew differently. He's a young man, he's a grown man, but I've always worked really hard to build him up and to help him grow into a fine citizen. Okay? He, I think, set me up the day that I tapped that Massey's truck, backed out of the yard and tapped the Massey's truck. And my brother and TPD officer CPEason, EASON, I had to give him my driver's license, my insurance number, my insurance papers. Anthony was out there. I said, Lord, this is going to be a problem. So I wanted not to give him the information. CPEason might not have been a real police officer. He might have been a criminal in a costume. But because he was in a TPD uniform, I just complied. Because my children are in the house, and I'm not going to let them cart me off to jail and separate me from my children. My children end up in DCF custody and all of that foolishness, right? So Anthony was there, and he's like, you know, they were trying to charge me with a hit and run. They were trying to charge me with a hit and run. That morning, should I go into this now? Yes. Okay, so this was February the 8th. That morning, I was not feeling well. I was having cramps, and Anthony always had his battery, connected to the extension cord. The extension cord was hanging out the window and then plugged into a battery maintainer trickle charger to keep his battery alive, so that when he came out to take a set to school, he could just crank it up, unplug it, and crank it up. This morning, he jumps up, "Oh, Michael, you need to take her to school. You need to take her to school." I said, "No, I'm not. I'm not feeling well. I'm not." "Oh, well, an eviction is going to be imminent." I'm like, "Bitch, please, I own 25% like you own 25%. I'm paying my part. You pay your part." And I started feeling bad for my daughter, so I said, "You know what? Let me get up and take her." So I told her, "Hurry up and get in the car," because I felt like my brother was setting me up. Whenever they send me to do something, just like the day I met Donnie, Ava, and Anthony told me I needed to pick up a moon 13 years old, can catch the bus across the street, and it'll put him off a block and a half from his house. Why I need to pick him up? Because they had already set it up for me to go to 1316 East 15th Avenue so that I could meet Donnie, so that he could catfish me, so that he could steal my shit. Now, 1316 East 15th Avenue, he changed my address and my mail, I believe. I'm alleging. My address on my driver's license was 1316 Kill Place, Valrico, Florida 33594. My mom's house, I believe she gave me in the will, right? So that was the setup. I meet him, and he catfished me. Maybe he's the fraudulent husband that signed over my 25% of the 6 pieces of property that Dorothy and Arthur Atkins left. In my mom's will, she lived the longest, and allowed them to evict me June 2nd, 2022, under A Plus Properties, which is a fake LLC, I am alleging, owned by Anthony, Ava, Alva, and whoever other investors that he has up in there. And Evelyn Rosardo, the property manager, looked like she is full-time meth addict, along with some other little meth addicts who went through all my stuff and probably did some more fraudulent shit when they got my cards and my passport application with my passport picture in there. All I needed was the money to pay them for my new passport. And Eric Allen is a fraudulent name for Anthony Atkins. So if you look up Toby Smith, Esquire, he has come up with a way to help business owners hide their assets. It's called security through obscurity. They create fake LLCs to hide your assets so that you don't have to be fair and just with people who you owe. It's criminal. It's a criminal operation, and it seems to be allowed here in the United States. So there was another point I needed to make. The day that I tapped the Massey's truck, it was a big ass box truck. Another guy pulled up in a little short pickup truck. No, let me tell the story from the beginning. I tapped the truck. Alex asked me, "Auntie, can you take me to the Bank of America to get some money out of an account that I closed?" I'm like, not feeling well. Now, this is where I'm wrong. God told me to stay my ass home until it was time to pick up a set. So because I'm always trying to honor my nephew and show him I support him, I disobeyed God, got my ass in that little orange Caliber, backed out of the yard. The Massey's truck the big box truck now. It's like a box U-Haul truck. They have many of them, but this one is built like a U-Haul smallest box truck, the 1999 truck. I tapped it. We called the police and everything. And CPEason, no, before CPEason, the guy says, Alex talked to him. He said, is there any damage? He's like, no, it ain't no damage. Y'all can go. So when I'm turning around to come out the yard, I said, is it okay? Can we go? The little young boy said, yes. He looked like he was 18, black guy, pecan skin, short hair. Alex said he saw 2 people in there, but that was probably part of the fraud. I only saw one person. So he says, yes, you can leave. So we leave. I take him to the bank. On the way back, and this is where I was wrong again. Instead of parking and staying put, I decide now I'm going to wash clothes and go to this grocery store since I'm already out. I pulled on Hannah and 32nd Street, and I told Alex, I'm going to park right here just in case, there's a problem. So God was letting me know there was a problem. So I pulled in the empty church field and let him out. I am driving off to go to wash clothes, and God said, go back, go back, go back. I'm like, no, if I go back, I'm not going to leave there and I'm not going to end up washing clothes. God said, go back. As I'm pulling down 32nd Street, I obey God the 3rd time. I see a bunch of police at my house. So I pulled over to the Jamaican people's house, Eugene, and his mama, who could be one of the fraudulent husbands also, right? Because he needed papers to stay. So I pulled over and I said, Lord, what do I do? God said, go to 30th Street and circle the block instead of continuing straight up 32nd Street. So I obeyed. I went down Idlewild and turned right to 30th and then turned right on Hannah and then turned, right there at 32nd Street. The guy in the pickup truck was trying to leave. I said, hey, meet me back down at my house. So he turned around and came back. I pulled in and said to the police, I know y'all not trying to charge me with no hit and run, right? The little boy that was in the truck, now the big box truck that the young boy was in that I hit is now gone. I said, I know y'all not trying to charge me with no hit and run, right? Because the little boy told me there was no damage. Go on. So I said, I know my brother said something to the little boy so that he could call his boss, because it was nothing but paint transfer. So the little guy in the pickup truck, who said his name was Aaron Santa Domingo, right? Because I asked for a card because I was going to contact Massey's, which I did right away. He said, well, you damaged my truck. So I looked at the police. I said, what damage? What damage? And the police, CPEason, said, oh, it's just paint transfer. I said, oh, okay. I said, so do I need to go to court for this or anything? He's like, no, this is just a ticket. I said, okay. A ticket for me backing out and tapping the thing. So it broke my rear light on the driver's side and got a little paint, on the big ass truck, but it didn't damage the truck. So I gave him my driver's license. I gave him my registration. I gave him my insurance for direct auto that I got through Dawn, MUNAO or MUNOA. Donnie was paying my insurance after Lawrence died. He said he wanted to pick up that bill and to put gas in my car every week, right? He ain't put gas in my car every week. And he eventually stopped paying my insurance, even though he knew he went and picked up money from Harold for me and never gave it to me. I'm alleging that. Okay, because Harold said he ain't got nothing to give you and he doesn't want you to ever contact him again. That's what Donnie told me, Harold told him. But I couldn't believe it. In my soul, everything in me said, this nigga is lying. But he kept his poker face. I said, Lord, this is not my friend, is it? He's a liar. And he just kept sitting there, looking like he was telling me the truth. And that was right before I was getting ready to perform fellatio on him, right? Okay, so back to the story at my house when I tapped the truck. So it didn't sit well with me. So I went to the library and I typed a 3-page letter about what happened that day. And I hand wrote a letter. I hand wrote the letter and took it to the district. I think that's 1 over by Busch Gardens off of Bush and Annie and 30th Street. And I said, hi, I want to give this to CPEason before he finishes his shift, because he didn't put Alex was in the car with me and he didn't put the name of the young boy that was driving the truck. A girl on crutches, also looked like a meth head, was in the booth. And she said, oh, well, he's doing his paperwork and he can't come up and talk to you. I'll give it to him. So I handed it to her. She was inside of the TPD office, booth. Now, let me tell you where I saw this girl again. When I started working at the Eddie's Cleaners. This was the same girl that came to the the laundromat on Florida near Hillsboro. There's an outside laundromat there. And she came and said, oh, well, I know a place. I was just working there. She was talking to somebody else about work out loud. And they send people because they know I'm always looking for a job. So she's talking out loud about how she just left this position, da 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 da. I was like, where? Give me the person's number. So I used her phone to call the guy, Eddie, and I said, hey, I'm looking for work. I've never done dry cleaning before, but if you train me well, I'll be a good worker. So I end up working there for about 12 days. And I was really too slow for the amount of clothes that they had. They had a lot of clothes, and I just didn't get those pleats right. I was working too slow. I wouldn't let go of control and let the machine do its thing. If I let go of control, I would have been a great presser. Eddie did a great job training me, but something in me just couldn't let go. So I only lasted there 12 days, and I really liked working there. I liked working as a presser. And working the line was okay, but the little Caucasian lady I worked with, she was really uptight. And, she liked to talk down to people, which I just laughed at her because, I peeped her game. So I wasn't going to let her upset me. Now, so after seeing the white girl give me the tip about the job, I kept saying, I know her from somewhere. I've talked to her before. And God brought it to my remembrance that she was the one that was in the police booth. So I'm like, damn, they got a whole operation where they can get access to the police booth. When I went to the FBI, they paid the FBI guy to come out of there and let somebody go inside and tell me they weren't accepting complaints and hand me a little piece of paper they didn't put together, didn't have any official seals or anything on it. So I recorded him and put him on my YouTube. I said, if something happens to me because you accepted a bribe and took an early lunch and let these people get in the booth and screw me over and you didn't take my complaint, talking about you got to go to Jacksonville to make a complaint. If Jacksonville accepting complaints, you accepting complaints. If not today, tomorrow, you tell me to come back tomorrow. Or you give me, a number to call an agent and report my complaint. Don't tell me I need to go to Jacksonville. That shit didn't make no sense. So this ring of crooks, they have pull, or they got a lot of money, or they have purchased, an FBI agent, the one that works in the little booth when you first pull up. When you get back there, now I had to take 2 buses. Then I had to walk through the park, the little wilderness by McDonald's Training Center, down that road, then back over to the FBI place, which is right against the interstate. It took a lot of effort. I had to pee on the side of the doggone wall because Heartline had closed their bathrooms. And, when you gotta go, you gotta go. I drank some Benadryl that Mr. John had mixed up, probably with his prostate medicine. And ever since I drank that shit, it was like I couldn't hold my water. I'm like, what the hell? So I do like 100 kegels a day. When you squeeze your vaginal muscles, then you squeeze your butt muscles and you hold it tight. So it's taken me damn near a year to get my shit back right doing the kegels. So the medicine that they give you for your prostate is really powerful. As soon as you stand up, that shit, like your urine just wants to drop out of you. And my heart goes out to people who have prostate. I wouldn't even recommend nobody to take that medicine. I would say it would be better to get the little catheter and drain it and then work on strengthening your prostate. That's just my personal opinion. So I take that to the police station so that he can include it. And God kept saying, you need to go check on this. You need to go check on this. You need to go check on this. I go down to the police station and pull my driving record or the ticket. And these people got me as a hit and run. So I flip out. I hit the roof. I'm like, no, this is not right. You all need to change this. So I request to talk to an investigator. No, what are those people? Internal Affairs. And I tell them what happened. Now, after the handwritten copy, I go to the children's board and I type up a copy of what happened and I got it notarized. I have to decide whether or not I'm going to get an attorney or any of that. So I paid $100 to a corrupt organization I am alleging. Tickets.com, Tickets Are Us. You can go to my YouTube, Lee, Lee, space Lee, and find them. I pay $100. They tell me I owe $220. Well, the Saturday before I'm supposed to go to court, April 4th, I don't have $220 to pay them, so I asked them to give me my money back, and I would go with a cheaper service. They won't give me a refund. They still haven't given me a refund to this very day. Now, if they gave it to somebody, they gave it to one of those hackers, maybe my nephew, my brother, I don't know, Donnie, somebody. They didn't give it back to me. And I kept requesting it back. So I sent them a copy of the notarized letter showing what happened to me and a copy of the ticket. So it's now Monday, April 4th. And God is like, bitch, you better do something. So at 8, court is supposed to start at 9. At 8:20, I call this number and I say, hey, I need an attorney. It's about to happen at 9 o'clock here at the courthouse. And they say, oh, well, we already have an attorney, Brandon, down there. He's going to be, representing a couple of people. If you send me the money. I said, well, I only have 160 now. Can I send you the 160 and then pay the other 39 later? She said, yes. I paid the 160 over the phone. And then that Thursday I went in and paid another $39. Brandon appeared for me. I said, see if you can get a continuance and then, get it thrown out. So he did both. He got a continuance to April 27th and then they threw it out. That's what they told me. I have never met Brandon. I paid for this over the phone. So that same day, I said I have to go to work. So I go to the Port of Tampa. Brandon's representing me in court to get the continuance on the ticket. I went inside the courthouse, but I never went inside the room where they have the court proceedings. I told the bailiff, my name is AleneDAtkins. I got to go to work, but Brandon of Rhino Lawyers is representing me. Let the bailiff know that I was here. My attorney is here representing me, and don't be sending no warrants for my arrest, okay? So I jump on my bicycle, I ride on down to the port, and I go to Pro Logistics, something like that. They have a $15 an hour job, stacking pallets, repalletizing things. So I'm trying to get on with them because this little $10 an hour over here at AmalieOil is not going to make it. I'm going to be working 18 hours a day for a long time just trying to keep up. They don't hire me. They don't seem interested. They give me the cold shoulder. Somebody steals the phone that Donnie had loaned me with the Tusk account. And I believe it was Donnie that stole it back because somebody put the information on the internet. It's on the internet right now. One is talking about me taking these breast enlargement pills. I left the phone in my bag hanging on the handlebar when I went into the little store, the little restaurant before you get to the port. And I ordered grits. Somebody bought me some grits. I think they bought me a whole breakfast. If I don't have money, I ask people to help me. And that's just my way of making it through life. So somebody had bought me a breakfast. And I went up and down the port asking people, hey, did you see a phone? Did anybody turn in a phone? Did you see a phone? Did anybody turn in a phone? Nobody turned in the phone to Lost and Found. So I had another phone with me. So I took pictures of the cameras and I was just showing, okay, there's cameras here, there's cameras here. Somebody knows where this phone is. And I left the Port of Tampa and I'm waiting on the bus. And guess who reappears? I ain't seen this fool for months. Donnie Dwayne Flowers pulls up at Hillsborough Community College where I'm waiting on the bus. And he's like, oh, put your, bike in the car and, I'll take you where you want to go. I said, no, I ain't getting in no car with you no more. I knew something was really wrong at that time. So he's like, oh, well, I want to talk to you. We can't talk in the street. I said, well, pull over there. So I put my bike there. I talked to him standing outside of his vehicle. I never got in his car. Oh, well, I thought you said you didn't like working at AmalieOil. I said, I don't, but I have to work. I got to pay bills. Oh, well, I thought you didn't like attorneys. I don't, but I knew I needed one. So he's letting me know behind the scenes he's some kind of way involved. He's an Aries. I knew he wouldn't tell me the truth. So I said, are you married? And he said that he married someone to help them get their papers. Now, I've been knowing this person since 2017. This man ain't never told me he was married. So when did you get married? I didn't go into all of that with him. I just thought, oh my God, I got to get my life together. So when he was finally convinced that I was not getting in his car, he carried his ass on and I rode my bicycle where I was going. Okay? So I don't know how they've crossed up my name. I did go to the police department and request to speak with Internal Affairs, and they sent detectives out to talk to me. I said, I got a couple of issues going on. I got shot at when I was working at Rogers Park Golf Course. I want to know if you all can go out there and look for that bullet so that people can stop calling me crazy. Like, I don't know what a gunshot sounds like. And I believe Al shot at me. He was sitting on a cart. He had a blanket across his lap. What was under the blanket? A little sawed-off shotgun. And so I was raking hole number 3, bunker number 3 on the green. And before I got there, I saw Al sitting on his cart with the lights off. I said, Al, I see you. And I turned off my lights. I think that's the only thing that saved my life. I turned my lights off. I went in. Did I go rake the bunker first? Or did I can't remember if I went in with the machine and raked the bunker first and then came back out to rake myself out. Because you have to rake up one time the bunker, then you have to rake down one time, and then you have to rake away your tire marks. Seems like I went in and raked with the raker first, and then when I came out, I got off. And for some reason, I don't know which one happened first. I hate that. But what I do remember is, as I was raking, I had my back to Al, and I heard pow, loud as. And we talking about, like, by the time I get to the third bunker, we're talking about maybe 6:15 in the morning. So it's kind of quiet. And I said, Happy New Year. And I said, God, keep me safe, keep me safe, keep me safe. I never turned around to look to see Al holding a gun at me, or I never turned around to see nothing. I didn't see him drive away on the cart, but I just kept raking and kept praying and kept raking and kept praying. And when God told me to look up, I looked up. I ain't see nobody. I jumped on Bertha, that's what I call the raker, and I went straight back over. Now this is how desperate I was to save my mama's house, 6010 North 32nd Street, that was in foreclosure. I needed to show that I was working, and I had been working there for 6 months, so I was making enough money. I had been working there long enough to qualify for bankruptcy. So I hired Laura Gallo, Gallo. I signed the papers, and Letitia went with me when I went back to give her the $250, which was my first payment. She didn't want my money and told me I had to go through my brother. I'm like, go through my brother? Why would I have to go through my brother? My brother owns 25% like I own 25%. That's all she told me. And you need to go and sign up to get a deferment on your loans. I'm like, why is she advising me about my student loans? I came here to do bankruptcy. She's telling me I got to go through my brother. So I done signed papers. This bitch done got my agreement, right? My signature to be my attorney. Now this whore is turning on me. So I'm sitting there in shock. Letitia recorded it, but that bitch wouldn't give me a copy of the recording. So it's just all crossed up. The detectives told me they were not going to take the hit and run off my driver's license. That's just how they put it in. It doesn't mean that I hit and left. I said, I know what hit and run means, man. Y'all need to get this shit off my record. I did not hit and run. When I came back, the guy told me we could leave. There was no damage. When I came back, the police was still there. I told him what the boy told me. So this needs to be taken off of my record. And he's like, they were really no help. They said they couldn't go out there and look for the bullet. It had been too much time that passed. So I said, okay, whatever. And I left. So I just stopped believing in the police department here in Tampa. And I started praying, God, you got to help me get out of this mess. I can tell that I am in the spider's web. And if you've ever seen an insect caught in the spider's web, he has about 2 flaps to get out. Turn to the left, turn to the right. You're either deeper in there or you break free. And I've only one time seen a wasp break free. And I thought that was pretty amazing. I wanted to shake the wasp's, what do you call them? Feather? wing. I wanted to shake his wing, but I would have killed him if I would have shook his wing. So I just gave him a salute. Like, nigga, you bad. You awesome. So I decided I was going to be that wasp. I was going to get out of this spider web without them hurting me. And I knew that it was my brother in the background. Maybe Donnie too. And I had no idea how many people had turned on me. And I didn't know about my money either at that time. So I was really hurt to find out that these people wanted to kill me for what they had already stolen from me, and wanted to kill me to keep that and to take more money and more houses and the cars and the... So my stomach is hurting talking about that. So, Creator God, is there anything else I need to say about this? No. So I've never been crazy, never been, suffered from psychosis, never suffered from schizophrenia. These are the lies that they had. Dr. Lisa Gaze, fat ass Dr. Alberts over at Davis Highland, trump up against me so that the court could legally steal from me. They stole my children. They stole my estate. They stole the trust fund. And they're going to give all my stuff back. They're going to apologize. And they're going to pay me times 10 for punitive damages. Hillsborough County, 13th Judicial Circuit Court, 800 East Twigs, Tampa, Florida. Chief Judge Menendez, when they stole my children. Chief Judge Ronald Figueroa now. And I think his alias is Christopher Sabella. I don't think that's a real person. I think that's Ronald Figueroa's fake LLC name. He's still on the board. Judge Catherine G. Esrick. Corrupt attorney Barbara Twine Thomas. And I'm going to have to implicate that Cheryl Thomas is a corrupt judge too, dealing with the foreclosure. And Laura Alexis Mason was the assistant attorney general with the children. And there's some kind of sealed case that I don't have any clue about. They might have said I was dead. I'm not dead. So I'm going to cut it off here. The time is now 10:18 a.m. My daughter's going to get up fussing with me about this long video. I need some of my money. Can't seem to get a job at any of the temporary agencies. I've been barred from Liberty Staffing, People Ready, PRT over there with Hector. Pace setters, I don't know. I don't have any ID. How am I going to get a job? I'd be a substitute teacher if I had my ID. I can make $18 an hour as a substitute teacher. I need my transcript from USF, so if you all can help me with any of this stuff, help me, please. Alene Dorothea Atkins, born 11/24/70, Tampa General Hospital, 7 months old, stayed in the preemie NICU incubator for a little while before Arthur Atkins and Dorothy Atkins brought me home to 6010 North 32nd Street, which is the only house I grew up in with my siblings, Anthony being the oldest and only boy, Alva being the oldest girl, then me, then Ava, the youngest girl.